Hi everybody. So as we head into the second conjunction of Jupiter and Pluto, and for those of you who don't study astrology, it's like, what does that mean? Pluto really symbolizes the planet of deep, dark transformation. It's like going into those places where we feel as if we're dying, where we're deeply afraid, the places we don't want to confront. And right now, as these planets are approaching an exact conjunction, for the second time out of 3 times, and usually the middle time is the most intense one, I'm noticing a lot of anxiety coming up for people at this time. And usually when I do work with people on a consistent basis, it's like, okay, yeah, normally you have a healing and you feel great, but times are different now. It's like you have something happen, but then all of a sudden the energy shifts again and there's another wave of anxiety or fear or sadness. And these are just the way things are right now. It's an intense time. So what I want to do is just offer a few tips for the moments when you're in like the throes of anxiety. All the way from like I can barely move to I've got a bit of agency, I can do some things, what can I do to at least lower the level of anxiety, at least how I've been approaching it, and I just want to share those with you. So on an energetic level, when we go into anxiety, I can almost liken it to that feeling of being completely lost, completely cut off, completely abandoned. It's like there's just nothing to grasp, nothing to hold on to lift you up. Like that's when anxiety is so intense, that's what it feels like. And if you were to scan a person's energy centers who's in the throes of anxiety, I can guarantee you that the heart center is going to be closed. Heart center is connected with courage, and when that heart is open, there's courage to face what's there. But when we're in the throes of things, something has shut the heart. And oftentimes too, you'll notice that the root, which is our connection to the earth, our strength, that energy we get from feeling supported, feeling nourished, feeling like we have everything we need, is also cut. And also too, the crown, which is our connection to spirit, our pillar of light in the chaos, closed as well. So when all those 3 things are completely shut, it's like, how can you get yourself out? So 2 things that I always have on hand, if this ever hits, because it hits me too, it never stops, is just learning how to ride the waves more skillfully. So one of the things I have on hand that I remember years ago, some aromatherapist told me that geranium was an incredible emotional healer. And I ended up, doing some scanning with it after, and it's incredible for opening up the heart center. So in those moments when the anxiety is super strong, if you were to simply take some geranium oil and put it on your hands and take some, and if you don't like putting oils in your hands, just take the bottle and take 3 deep breaths. Or you could even make a spray of the geranium with some, water and alcohol, just so that you've got that scent. And that geranium alone, when it comes in through the breath, it actually has an ability to crack the heart open and to open the heart, which is where we need to start, because the crown actually won't open until the heart really starts to open. So taking that geranium oil and spray breathing it in, and then taking literally 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes to do regular breathing, even breathing. So I have a metronome on hand, and you can download apps anywhere, but it's literally, I put it on a rhythm where it's, every 8 count. I do an inhale for 6, I hold for 2, I exhale for 6, and I hold for 2, and I continually do that. The reason that I use the metronome is because when you inhale evenly on the inhale and the exhale, it actually causes a balance in the hemispheres of the brain, causes a balance in the masculine feminine principle within the body. And what happens when we're in balance? We're in balance. And generally what happens when we're out of balance is like one of those principles is kind of overriding, and a lot of the time it's the lunar, where we're so receptive, so everything's so intense, like we feel like we're being overwhelmed, and a lot of times it'll be getting that lunar aspect back into balance. So simply doing that for 5 minutes is like something that's simple that you can do where you're in the throes of panic, because the breath is the bridge between the body and the mind, and the moment that you get that into balance, you're going to affect the mind, you're going to affect the body. So it's like that is probably the most important thing you can do, but adding that little bit of geranium helps to kickstart the process of the heart opening. If you don't have geranium, I took this from the herbalist in the US, Susan Weed, which is, she's an amazing woman to check out and to read her stuff, but she recommended Motherwort, the tincture, which also is, the Latin name has to do with the lion, but it's like, again, opening up the heart. But it's not one that is like a sedative, which is really nice, like a valerian or a skullcap or something like this. It's an energy that actually just really opens the heart. So she recommended that you take a dropper full, wait 5 minutes. If you're still in anxiety, take another one, and you can do it up to 3 times. So that's an amazing tincture, and I guarantee, like bar none, it's one that really, really helps the energy to drop and to reduce instead of having to take pills or something like that, because of that power of the heart of getting it open. So those are like my 2 go-tos if I really need it. You know, the other thing too is remembering that connection to the earth and to the crown. So sometimes even going outside and getting your feet on the earth and simply breathing up through the soles of the feet and making prayer where you actually take some breaths, open up the crown, and just start to pray and really focus on not just the prayer, but the aspect of the crown opening and connecting to receive energy from a higher source, to receive energy from somewhere for guidance to keep you going. And the same with the earth. It's like open up, connect into the earth. Imagine your soles of your feet opening. You're drawing that energy up. Because the moment we feel that we've got energy coming back in again, we're not going to feel isolated, abandoned, lost. It's really important. So again, just getting feet on the ground, crown open, energy flowing, the heart will open as well. Okay, so if you're in like a medium type of panic and there's still some energy there to do some things, other go-tos that are really amazing, one of them is doing something for somebody else, an act of service, and it could be something really small. But the thing is if you focus on generating positive love, generosity, beauty for somebody else, and directing that energy towards them, naturally, as I said in other videos, your heart responds in kind, and the heart opens, the crown opens. So what I used to do, and still do sometimes if I need it, if I feel it's appropriate, is I'll take my mala and do some mantras for people. And even if it's just, may this mantra, the goodness of this mantra go to bless this person. Super simple. And then you can do any mantra. There's a million out there. There's a wonderful book by Thomas Ashley Ferran, and he talks about, it's a whole book called Healing Mantras. There's lots of them on the internet. My favorite is Om Tara Tutare Turi Soha. I use that one because they say when you call to Tara, she comes very quickly. And I do notice with that mantra, there is a faster effect than, say, some of the other ones, like working with Krishna, which some people say he's very elusive. Okay, so that's something you can do. There's another meditation that's online that's a part of my school called the Twin Hearts Meditation. And this is a planetary blessing meditation. And this one is really valuable because my teacher used to say that when you spend the time blessing something as large as the planet, the divine energy that descends down is actually more, and that flow of the energy into the crown through your body and at your hands, blessing the earth in front of you, actually washes the energetic body and increases its size. So that in itself can take you out of your mind, out of your loop, and doing that service for somebody else. The meditation's about 20 minutes, and I'll put a link below. And you can connect to that there. And basically, yeah, it's just like taking the energy and using the prayer of St. Francis of Assisi to bless the earth. And this is one I use a lot. And more so when things get tough, or, you know, you start working with other people, start carrying more of a load. It's like you have to have a place you can go to receive more energy, or else you're just going to give up and you're going to quit. So more and more as you walk any kind of path of waking up to whatever that is, you've got to figure out how to be able to carry more energy. And if the mistake I see a lot of people make is they start reaching out through the solar plexus, reaching out from the lower centers to try to gain energy because they're flailing, you know. And it's really important to like recognize that and say, oh yeah, where am I actually getting my energy? Is it through complaining? Is it through like hoping everything is done for me by other people? Whatever it is, you know. Going back to old memories with old boyfriends or whatever. It's like, no, am I actually figuring, okay, yeah, this energy has to come from up here, this clean, pure place of energy. And finally, sometimes just getting out of your head. One other thing I love to do is I have a playlist of like really weird music. One that I know that when I listen to it, it's going to help me to travel somewhere where I can leave. And this is like a shamanic thing. It's like you rise above the element of the earth. Because a lot of times, like my maestro will say, a lot of time the fighting, the bad energy, the heavy energy is really in the realm of earth. And if you can literally become the bird and fly above, it's like you get out of it, you fly above it, you see it for what it is. It's an awareness. And sometimes even dance, just putting in that piece of music on and getting out of my head and allowing myself to fly is amazing for lifting up out of it. And you really need to shake, move, whatever it is that gets you up out of your head. And I also did share some videos on cord cutting, which can be sometimes something that can affect our energetic body, because we don't live in a bubble. We live in a world full of other people that we interact with, energies that we interact with, and sometimes we just get a connection that is draining our energy a little bit. And you'll notice sometimes it comes through tiredness or thinking thoughts that you don't normally think, or being paranoid, or things like this. Sometimes it just needs a disconnection there. Sometimes the house needs a cleaning, or the space that you're working in. And there's some videos in my previous videos as well that explain how to deal with that. So you can check that out. So anyway, I hope this helps. Some short, quick tips. And if you like what you're seeing, please click subscribe. And many blessings to you of calmness as we ride this Jupiter-Pluto wave through the underworld and out the other side.